Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome to a special little reading. Um, I don't know. I felt really called to do a what I'm going to call a 5 card reading. And the reason why I'm doing 5 cards, so if most of you know me, I know that our readings can be over an hour, usually are. Um, but I have some very specific questions I want to ask, and I'm asking our guides to let them come out within 1 card and maybe one clarifier. And what I'm looking for is what I feel like are going to be soulmate unions. So, and I want to know like by 2025. So, we're like midway through. Um, I want to know. I want to know, and I'll tell you when I actually wrote them down. So I'm going to ask your soulmate's subconscious thoughts about you. Some of you, by the way, could already know who this person is. Some of you may not know yet. Um, like I feel like just be open to the experience and the process. Because if you're meant to be together, I just kind of feel who's ever here, you will be. So, anyway, your soulmate's subconscious thoughts about you, and then your thoughts on them. Then I want to know 2025's potential of, it's interesting, I put meeting, but I titled it unions. So, meeting, hey, who knows? Maybe when you know. And it moves fast. I'll never leave anything off the table. Number 4, did we love here or and past lives before? Really, I should have just said, is this the only life we've lived together? Um, and I did bring out the past life tarot just in case. And if we find out that's the case, then we're just going to intuitively pull one. All right. And then divine energy that's supporting this union. So if it's truly meant to happen, like what divine energy might be guiding you. And then the major arcana that's connecting the two of you. So these are the major arcanas. And again, we'll do the same thing. We'll spread them out and then just feel the energy. Um, this should be an energy reading for you. Like you should feel it, honestly. I can't remember what reading I just did. I think it was Twin Flames. I can't remember. But literally the Empress came out as card 1, and then the Emperor came out as the 5th card. And that's how I read 5 cards across, and I always look at what's mirroring each other. So that just blew me away. And then right in the middle was the Ace of Cups. So, I mean, was it talking about love? I think so. But what a reading. It was a shorter reading. Oh, maybe it was because instead of doing, usually I do like the divine masculine and the divine feminine and then connect them. I just did twin flame. I was feeling called to do a twin flame reading that day, and just did it as a regular reading. And my God, I'm glad I did. Anyway, so what major arcana is connecting the two of you? I forget now why I was even talking about what I was talking about. All right, so we'll slide these over. These are as needed. No one know. Major arcana, we're definitely going to pull one. I bring the lid down, but not too far. All right, so I'm going to use the crystal vision for the 5 cards, and I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot. Actually, right, like I'm going to take one right above it for each card. So, in a way, a clarifier, but I think it's just, an opportunity to like look deeper. All right, going to give them a cut. And, these really are already ready, but I do like to shuffle for you at least once. So we shall do that. Get them ready. Oh, I couldn't help notice what landed on the bottom of the deck. Hello, soulmates. Interesting. And what are we doing? Soulmate reading. They're no longer at the bottom. Anyways, that means if they really want to come out, they're going to have to come out through the crystal vision. Or we'll see. So let's go ahead and begin. So your soulmates, and really, when I say theirs, I probably mean yours too. But let's just go with the questions I had, and then I feel like, and then just let it be, knowing that we're probably mirroring, right? It's probably mirroring energy. So, um, subconscious thoughts of you. Oh my gosh, so interesting. Like I think our guides are like on top of it. Hello, soulmates. How interesting. It was at the bottom of this deck. You saw it, which the way I put the cut back together, I think it put them in the middle of that deck, which means chances are they weren't going to come out. And I literally said that. Like they're going to have to come out in this deck and look at this. The very first card. Oh my God. Thank you. So, number one, there's no denying what subconsciously and really what is, because it definitely feels so clear that, number one, it's confirmation to me that I was meant to do this reading. I always pick up those signs. And how interesting is like immediately. But, anyways, I feel like it's also confirmation for you. So it definitely feels like soulmate recognition, at least in the subconscious mind. And I'm thinking, is the subconscious mind the right term? Excuse me. Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's not overthink it. So, your thoughts on them? Page of Wands. Take a chance on me. Take a chance on you. A risk taker. Action oriented. Someone who definitely moves according to what they're feeling passionate about. It can, for some of you, represent a younger time. Hmm. But if that was the case, then I would say at least somebody carried like very unencumbered type of energy. Like just followed my passions, baby. But this is your thoughts on them. Interesting. I just realized that. So I think I got to go back and say, take a chance on me. All right. So the potential through a card, potential of you meeting in 2025. Look at this, the Page of Cups. It's almost like here's these two pages. Oh my gosh. Younger versions, earlier time, can definitely represent fire and water. But I don't want to, like, it doesn't have to be that. It could be one was like the emotional one. Like if I was going to look at this couple as, teenagers or let's just say young lovers, I would say one was like loving and probably free loving, but not, I shouldn't mean like, when I say free loving, I don't mean like just sleeping around. I don't mean that at all. I mean just someone who, well, it's almost like she's becoming years down the line the Empress. And it's the emerge of that. It's the beginning of that. So I feel like there's this person, and I kind of feel like it's the feminine energy. And then I feel like we have this other person who does feel full of fire. I'm not going to say they're a fire sign. I just mean like, mm, it's like love and passion. How interesting. Now, page can also represent what's in the air. So for you, it may be like, are you ready? And for them, it may be like, are you ready? But maybe in two very different ways. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's keep going. So, or how did I reword that? Is this the first life that we have lived together? Or have we had past lives? Interesting. The hermit. The hermit. The perfect representation of what I feel this journey is all about. Spiritual, deep, um, learning, growing, like spreading this love, this awareness. But I also feel the hermit as a very wise old soul, meaning that the hermit has lived a lot. What I feel is like a lot of life paths, the one to the nine. And we're in the year of the hermit. What questions did I just ask? Holy cow. I'm so sorry. Did we love in a past life? Well, for sure, because to me, that's what the hermit represents. So let's just I'm gonna just kind of pick a card. I'm gonna let it pick me. Hmm. Finances. Interesting just how that card is almost like hurry up, hurry up. Finances. You know, I did a past life reading. Um, Either right after I did Twin Flame or right before. But don't forget soulmates. You know each other. Like you know each other's soul. You will like be together again, whether it's, this lifetime or in spirit. But in the past life reading, this was, I don't want to say an obstacle, um, but for some reason, what I'm feeling all of a sudden And this could just be for a few of you. I get this feeling that in this lifetime, who knows, maybe these two were together, but ultimately wanting different goals at that time, which really is each soul's right. Because, I feel like we come down here like as souls to grow and evolve. And it's not all about love, but love's a big component. I shouldn't say it's not about love. It is about love, but it's not always romantic love. Anyway, so I just get the feeling that, we could have taken different courses, gone different ways. One starting to realize that someone's just not going to be responsible. That's probably was their lesson to learn. And maybe yours too. I mean, depending on which end, right? Like if someone is going to remain irresponsible, well, then I got to make a decision. How long do I accept that? But again, this feels like much younger energy. Of course, you could be young right now. Interesting. It could be you right now. All right. So I feel like then we got to think of the hermit and what the hermit is asking for. So the hermit is kind of breaking it down. Sometimes it can feel like the hermit has his back to all this, which is interesting. Almost like past life or maybe earlier life. And even though it didn't come in the spot of 20, is it going to happen in 2025? It still comes out right next to it. So, the hermit definitely represents 2025, but it's all about, how you have grown, probably because we're opening with the soulmates and we see two pages. And I do feel like they're people. So, how each has grown individually, but then shining that beacon of light. Okay, this card's like, pull me. Oh man. All right, well, I'm going to take it. Though it's not the card that's next. Look at that, the Fool. So I'm taking that with the Hermit. The Fool. The Fool. We are ending a 9-year cycle. We're all going to be the Fool, whether we're ready or not. It's interesting because she is looking down at finances. Yet, how interesting because this is about new beginnings, like fresh starts. Um, Even if, like, let's say this is someone I knew back in the day. Let me use Sam and I for example. We dated as teenagers, but then went our separate ways. And then 40 years later, he does reach out, like completely, and I was shocked. Um, but he did. He reached out. And why am I saying this? Hmm, I'm not sure. Okay. So, anyways, I'm not sure why I was saying that story. Okay. Major arcana that's connecting the two of you. Like they both wanted to come. I'm not coming without the other. We have the moon, feminine. I would shit if we had the sun, but we don't. We have the Hierophant. Well, the Hierophant's about your faith. You know, it's interesting when I was looking for another word, um, versus subconsciously, and I feel like don't leave it off the table, Sandy, but this kind of feels like I could see you connecting like in dream state. I could see some praying. Hmm. Hierophant 5. Gotta change. You know, it's interesting is the Hierophant's coming over the moon, and the moon is Cancer's ruler, and we are in Cancer's energy. Now, that seems pretty quick, but look how fast the Two of Cups came out. My God, we haven't even got to those yet. I don't know why I try to do short readings. Like, it's impossible. I can't. I get too drawn in. So the Hierophant, card of Taurus. The Moon, by the way, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. The Hermit, card of Virgo. I'm losing my voice for some reason. The two pages, like, and all those signs I just gave you, just forget them because it doesn't really matter. So, the Hierophant can certainly talk about morals and morals aligning, goals aligning where maybe before they couldn't, they didn't, there could have been obstacles. All right, let's go ahead and take one card above that. We have the Eight of Cups. Wow, somebody walking away. Somebody walking away. Somebody's walking away, not in a, not angry. I feel like someone, well, one of the soulmates wanted to explore. Hmm. Okay. Let's keep going. We have the Star, card of Aquarius. This is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Wow. Maybe somebody was chasing a wish, a dream. You know, maybe one of these soulmates, they have a dream. They had a dream. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was both of you. You know what I mean? Because eight is a new beginning. But it's also the number of infinity. It's like, I feel like my soulmate can be across the world, but there's still this invisible thread that connects us. So I feel like in this Eight of Cups, as I walk away, I don't feel like, I don't feel like, and then the death card, and then the closing of a door. I'm just, I don't know, going on an adventure, chasing a dream, coming with the Page of Wands under the star. And that's someone's passion. Okay. Let's keep going. Hmm. We have the Five of Swords. I don't think someone like that. I don't think someone like that. Interesting. It's almost like I'm part of this argument, and the argument is over money. And maybe this person was chasing a dream before or spoke of it, but I feel like fighting over money. Maybe chasing this dream meant there was going to be time that I'd be, scraping by. I know that. We all know that. But if you're on the other end of that and someone's walking away from you, you know, I understand. And it's interesting because I do feel like this very mellow energy, but I do get a sense of the passion that they had. They also had it in the reverse or the opposite. So we could fight as well as we could make love. Because I do feel, I don't know, and this may just be one person who carries it with them that they really don't have to, but it may be like, I wish I didn't say this or say that. But, and in a way, I just feel like these soulmates, I feel like they were meant to each have their own journey. So whether there was fighting or not, I feel like it was going to happen. It was almost like it was built that way. All right, let's keep going. The Emperor. Interesting. I just did a podcast on the Emperor, the meaning of the Emperor, the father figure. Wow, that could add a whole other layer to it. Um, and for some of you, maybe you had a father who wasn't there financially, but just look at this as really what I feel is because the fool was mirroring the Emperor. I feel like it's talking about the person now. And, I get this feeling of this emperor being spiritual, but methodical. I do feel it's interesting. I'm thinking of that podcast now. Um, but let me put it in. I feel like it's someone saying, I've grown. I've grown. I've learned a lot. My experiences have taught me a lot. I don't feel like there's really any apology because I don't feel like any is needed. Interesting. But I feel that like I don't feel like any apology is needed. Maybe that's what they think. So if you've been carrying something around, maybe this is an opportunity to let it go. Remember, the fool doesn't bring the past into the present, especially with the hermit right there, right? The hermit is the end of a 9 year cycle. And this is the end of a 9 year cycle. And then it is the new beginning. I also could see maybe someone who is a business owner that maybe been part of the dream. And it could be both ways, by the way. Don't be surprised if, even if you haven't, like, if you do know who this person is, but you haven't, let's say, talked to them in forever, don't be surprised if a lot of your experiences mirror each other. All right. Oh my God. Holy cow. The Ace of Cups. Unconditional love. That's why there's no apologies needed. Look at that. That's why I felt there was no closing of a door because I don't feel like the door closed on this love. I don't feel it was perfect, but I don't feel like it was meant to be perfect because I feel like perfect may have kept you together where I feel whether it was a past lifetime and this lifetime or just a past lifetime and you're coming together in this lifetime. Um, what am I trying to say? Like, I feel, I feel lesson learned. The emperor can certainly be a business owner, definitely someone that we look up to. And I love the hermit below. I'm saying him, but it is masculine. It's funny because now we do have feminine and masculine energy in the Ace of Cups connecting them with the Hierophant. Kind of like the Hierophant blessing it all. What a reading. Um, I like these direct questions because I feel like we're getting direct answers. So I think I should leave it there. And I think I am going to leave it there. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to make this because for some reason, I don't know why, all of a sudden I'm feeling like I'm going to make it a series. And this is one, or A. This is the first, this is the season premiere, so to speak. Um, because I want to take the same energy and I want to move it forward in the next reading. So, what's connecting these two? The Ace of Cups, unconditional love. Whether we know each other in this lifetime, you're still entering into the fold's energy. I feel like morals align. I just feel, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to our guys, because I feel like the questions were answered like that. And I'm not going to second guess them. Though I do feel like I have to turn the decks around. I have the Knight of Swords. Like all of a sudden something was saying, turn deck around, turn decks around. Three of Cups. So Three Cups is the energy of joy, a reason to celebrate. And the Knight of Swords, probably communication. Interesting is coming after the Four of Swords, healing. And Page of Wands with Three Cups. Okay, I'm going to let that be though. So we'll pick it up in the next one. We'll see how these lovers continue on. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time. And I'll try not to make the next one quite as long. But I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.